Hey legends, welcome to Pillar 2 Stress. Now, I take this pretty seriously, and the reason I take it pretty seriously is because, stress just ruins so many people's lives, and the single point of failure is our inability to actually recognize its place in our world. Now, it's something that, as I said, in all my lecturing and workshops and anything that I run, I always make sure I manage stress because it's so important. So, at the end of this, you're going to learn about stress and how to identify it in your life. The outcomes for you is you're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be more successful, and you're going to be balanced. My advice is take this seriously, really reflect on your life, where you're at, and think about those areas in your life that you just struggle with, and it could be you're putting on weight, or it could be just lack of time, or you're just caught in your head, and these are all symptoms of stress. So pay attention and take it seriously. So what is stress? Now, for me, stress has its own sort of formation. And for you guys, stress again has its own formation. So I guess right now, I want to give you 30 seconds to just sit and reflect and ask yourself, what is stress? Does it have a place in my life? Do I know that I'm stressed? How do I know that I'm stressed? Does stress have a physical sign or symptom with my body? Okay, so just think about it right now. For you, what is stress? Now, stress really, it's an emotional and physical strain on our bodies. Okay, it's something that we place under ourselves. We get caught up in the day-to-day life, and time frames and busyness and price index, and housing price as well, and kids, and we're so busy. We're so busy trying to survive in this world, and it creates so much levels of stress and anxiety in our life. Now, the truth of the matter is we sometimes don't even identify it. And we just go on, we go on, we go on, and people are like, Rob, why do I feel so miserable? It's because you're under stress. You're not dealing with your stress at all. And if we don't deal with stress, we know things like, our immune system shuts down. We lack the cognitive ability to make good decisions. Our digestive system shuts down. So now we're not making good decisions. We're not processing our food adequately, and we're getting sick. So then what happens is we start to lose confidence in ourselves, we start to gain weight, and we start to feel shit. This is the physiological signs and symptoms of stress in our life. So think about it in your life. You're busy. I know that you guys are running businesses. You're setting up businesses. You're running programs. You've got kids. You've got all these other things going on in you. There is a lot of elements of stress in your life. The question that you need to start to ask yourself is, in what forms is it occurring? And what do I need to do to manage it? So do you recognize it in your life? Again, I want to give you 30 seconds right now to think about, do I have stress in my life? And if you just flat out say no, then I would really ask you to pay attention. Because I think if you start connecting with self on a deeper granular level, you start to really look at your moods, your happiness, your levels of happiness versus anxiety, or happiness versus you know unhappiness, you might start to realize that perhaps you are a bit stressed. You've just failed to see it. And it's easy to put in the mindset of, I'm just going to keep pushing through, I'm just going to keep pushing through. But you know what? That doesn't work, because it does catch up with you. So think about it. Do you even know if you're stressed? Is stress even present in your life? Truth of the matter is our bodies have a stress response. In a fearful situation, our body has a thing called our acute stress response, which is our body's internal alert procedure, where our heart starts to beat, we start to sweat, our visual becomes distorted, we get an increase in energy, we shut down sometimes, we freak out. We've all heard of the fight, flight, or freeze response. So at that moment where there is something overt happening in your life, or it's stressed you out, like an overt threat, a thump on the door at night, or a banging on the window at night, and you wake up, what was that? This is your stress acute response kicking in. And at that point in time, there's over 200 physiological changes in your body dealing with that stress. Now, with your ASR, or your acute stress response, it comes in and it goes out if we allow it to. The only way to actually regulate this is to regulate your breathing, because your breathing, your breath rate, and your heart rate, they're intertwined. So they beat the same. So that's why right now, if you started to just go and just take a lot of 30 to 50 quick, sharp, deep breaths, your heart rate will increase. So therefore, we know that our heart and our breath rate are the same, one of the same. The only way we can actually regulate ourselves during a stressful period or stressful time is to regulate our breathing, slow it down, slow, deep breaths. Got to pay attention to this because over a prolonged period, stress kills us. As I said, our cognitive ability to make decisions isn't there anymore. Irrational thinking, not rational, but irrational thinking becomes common. Our digestive system shuts down, our immune system shuts down, your hair and fingernails don't grow as well. All these things, your body goes through all these changes, and that's why over a prolonged period of time we put on weight. That's why our quality of life suffers because we're not making good decisions. We get sick more often, we're more susceptible to illness. Why? Because our immune system isn't functioning properly. We become unhappy, we become unwell. This is the stress response. We need to pay attention to it. So what's a really, really critical factor in this whole process? Sleep. Sleep is our body's natural way of healing. Sleep plays a crucial role in people functioning ultimately. 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night is a recommended requirement to maintain daily ultimate functioning. Think about it, 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Are you getting 7 to 9 hours a night? That's my question, consistently. Now, I get, obviously people are busy and things happen, and sometimes you're hustling. You could have a newborn or starting a business and you're hustling, you're working hard, and that's okay for a period of time. But then it gets draining and wearing on you. But on average, ask yourself, am I getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night? The other important factor is to sort of remain cognizant of is that going to sleep at the same time each day is important for health and diet regulation. Again, it's just forming a positive habit for your body. Physiologically, your body then prepares for rest, so it's easy for you to go to bed at a certain time. If you go to bed at 9, let's say 10 o'clock every night, then your body around 9 o'clock, 9:30 will get into the routine and fall into the habit of starting to slow down because it knows that at 10 o'clock I go to sleep. So it's really important to remember that going to sleep or having regular sleeping patterns in terms of timing and when you actually go to sleep is really, really important for health and for diet regulation as well. So have a think about it. What do you want from your life? Plan your daily, week and routine. Organise the time you have to fit what's important in. And I'm talking about time for meditation, time for stretching, yoga, time for physical activity, time for thinking, time for children, time for loving, time for work. Plan it all out. If we don't plan it, we get overwhelmed. When we get overwhelmed, we get stressed and we don't complete anything and we're not productive. So think about it. What do you want to achieve each day? Write it down. Because when we write it down, we have a list and we cross it off and we do it, it gives a hit of dopamine. Makes us feel good. Write your list today. When you do this, okay, write out my list for today or whatever I'm doing for the rest of the day. Here's 10 things I need to do. As soon as you do one, bang, cross it off, bang, cross it off, bang, cross it off. You feel good. We know that it releases a biological and compound and chemical reaction. And what this does is it gives us a physiological change in our body through dopamine. We feel really good. Not only do we feel good, we're productive because we're crossing all those things we need to do off each day. So make sure you match your behaviour to what you want to achieve. If you have lots of things on, be productive, be positive. Just commit to it. Know you're going to crush it. Commit to your plan. And keep modifying. If things aren't working, look at your daily structure. Look at what you're doing. Do I have time for meditation? Do I have time for any type of mindful-based practice? Am I training? Do I have goals? Do I have a plan? Am I optimizing my time? Okay, because if things aren't working for you, it's a fair chance that one of these things isn't working for you. It's about coming back into balance, resyncing. Part of this is identifying any stress in your life and working out ways to regulate it. Remember, sleep 7 to 9 hours. A mindful-based practice is amazing for stress. Regulate your breathing when you're feeling funky, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling scared. Because your heart and your breath, as I said, are intertwined. Make sure you pay attention to it. It's a killer. So as we've talking about this, guys, the importance of stress. As I just said then, pay attention. Take it seriously because if we don't, we know that our lives can become ruined by it. Lack of sleep, putting on weight, lack of confidence in self. All of a sudden, we're feeling anxious or we're feeling depressed or, we're putting on weight. Now we're unattractive. Our confidence is going down the gurgler. Our business won't work. Now financially we're in hard times. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. Take it seriously. And if you are struggling with it, make sure you shout out to us, Weapons of the Human Effect, and we'll get you rocking. But you need to really pay attention to this. A lot of you right here, right now, will be like, oh yeah, I'm not stressed, I'm not stressed, I'm not stressed. But you know what? If you just tell yourself that, We know deep down that you probably are. So do some really self-reflection here and really connect and pay attention to your body. All right, legends, rock and roll.